everybody. Welcome back to Clip It Real Talk. I am so excited for my next guest. She is such a gentle soul. She radiates wherever she goes. She motivates. She is a bestseller author, a self-motivator, and self-care coach. And her name is Melanie Foote Davis. Hey, Melanie. Welcome
Hi.
to Clip It.
Hello, Juanita. How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am wonderful as well. I'm really grateful to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and giving us your time. Such a busy woman. Well, with no further ado, I would like Melanie. Melanie, could you please tell my audience? I know that you're a motivator for women to become self-loved and self-cultivated. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you do and how you got started?
So I am the founder of the Love and Freedom Academy and the Soul Suite, and I help ambitious women experience harmonious living and emotional freedom, right? I do so by creating this safe space for strong women to just go and
Exhale.
yeah, to just exhale, where they get to take off that mask and of having it all together and move out of overwhelm and overcommitment and all of those things into a place of being overjoyed.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so, what made you go into that direction? I mean, by talking to you and getting to know your background a little bit, you were in the beauty industry about 18 years ago, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that transition?
So there's no real defining moment when I knew, in terms of transitioning into coaching, because in my heart, that's all who I've always been. I've
Okay.
always been a space holder, a keeper of secrets, a place for people to come and share and release. And as you mentioned, I was in the beauty industry, and with that, it comes with its own set of beliefs. And one of the beliefs is that we work. We don't take breaks. We don't eat. You and I were talking about that
Yes.
before, how we don't take time for ourselves. But one of the things that we also do is that we pour, we serve, we make ourselves available for our clients, but we aren't necessarily available for ourselves and our family. And so I was actually in a space where I was missing a lot of my daughter's life.
Mhm.
And I was working, I was a single mom at the time, and I was working, but I was missing very meaningful moments.
Wow.
And it was coming to a place of being able to choose who is my source.
Mhm.
And noticing that my source, although my clients are a means to an end, like they're a tool, a resource that is used, my source is, who I serve from a higher place.
Yeah.
And God knows my needs. And so it was being able to choose something different for myself so that I could be available for my daughter. And that also, and then also there was this thing where there was this calling to do something more
Yes.
than what I was doing. And I
Okay.
thought it was going back to school for psychology. And then someone introduced me to coaching, and it was like, that's it.
Yes.
That's me right there. It felt like home.
Wow. You
Yeah.
you are so awesome. You put me in the mind of Diana Van Zandt, which she helped me like in my 20s. I was into all of her books and her tapes and just to help me stay stable emotionally and mentally. And
Mhm.
that's what you do for a lot of women.
I
You
do.
have a retreat, and can you just tell us a little bit about the retreats that you have that you offer to women? Is it just offered to anyone, or is it offered to just the people that you coach?
It's open to everyone. When women is who I primarily serve, except for, I may do corporate retreats or things like that. So that may be different if a group brings me in, but primarily I work with women. And so, yes, it is open to the public. My clients also get first dibs on the slot, though. Of
Yes.
course, they have priority access, and they typically know first. And it's a space to really do a soul alignment, a space to come in, where you get to make sure that your head and your heart and everything is in alignment with what's going to bring you inner peace, where we check out from external factors, external voices, and external expectations, and go within to make sure all of that is in perfect order.
Awesome. And how do you actually get women to, is it a technique? I know it's a gift. So I should even say, is it a technique? It's a gift that you have where
Mhm.
women can actually go inside of themselves to pull out the best person that they can be on any given day or any given moment. How do you actually get them to that place,
Hmm.
per se?
Well, that's a loaded question, right? Because and I say that because we're not all in the same space at the same time. And so being able to accept that everyone's process is not the same and everyone's path is not the same. So first and foremost, the woman has to be ready.
Okay, okay, okay,
Ready to, like, there's one thing to say that I want something different. It's another thing to choose it.
okay,
And so when you're in a space of choosing, then your heart is more open, and she's ready to take some risks that require being vulnerable. And then we have different steps that we may go through. So I first check in to see what it is that she desires, because it's not my agenda, it's her agenda.
okay.
Like, I don't get to tell you what to do with your life. You get to choose what you want, and then I help to guide you through some steps to bring forth what that is.
Awesome. And so with Love and Freedom Academy, that you I know you said something to me in regards to, well, it's all a mindset. Some people might say, I can't afford a coach. I can't afford to do this. I can't, you know, I don't know how to start. It's like you said, they have to be ready. So in regards to, can you explain coaching to my audience and the fact that it's no price on your inner strength to be built up?
Mhm. Yeah. So again, a loaded question, right?
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Um, you started with it being a mindset. So when we think about, like, there's cost and then there's value. There's
Okay.
cost and then there's value. And can you really put a price on your peace of mind?
No, you can't.
Like, can you really put a price on your peace of mind? And so it's about us shifting our mindset and seeing the value in us being able to live in joy and to actually be able to fully have inner peace in the most pure and authentic way as possible. And so when we typically think about cost, we're thinking about how much we're spending. But my question is, how much is it costing you not to take care of you?
Right.
Like when I mentioned my daughter earlier, it was costing my time with my daughter. Can I
Oh,
put a price on that?
no, nope.
That's invaluable. And so we spend money anyway. We spend money on lots of things, but does it really bring you something that's sustainable?
Yeah,
We love to look fabulous, and I'm not opposed to that. Like, yes, by all means, be fabulous.
yeah.
But what is the return on your investment for the $600 shoes versus the return on investment that may actually transform your life for years to come. And here's the thing, when a woman changes, when she chooses to shift and transform her life, she has the power to shift 7 generations.
Mm.
Can you put a price on that?
Do you find it hard for African American women to identify with their pain, with the fact whereas though they don't want to, because of embarrassment or shame, to admit the fact that they're struggling, that they might have certain issues, as far as, especially in this season of 2020, or the season of Trump, with you know, just struggling with mental issues like PTSD and all that stuff. What do you think about all of that?
Yeah, it breaks my heart, because really it's again back to mindset. Like, we've been conditioned to believe a lot of things that really did not serve us. Many of us were taught, like, have you ever heard, like, we don't air our dirty laundry?
Yes.
Right? All of these different things. Black people don't go to therapy. Those are all, like, that's not true. I'm Black. I've been Black all my life. I have a therapist. I have a coach. I've seen a therapist off and on for years. And there's no shame in that. You know what I see it as? A radical act of self-love. That I knew that I needed some support that I couldn't do on my own. And to be able to ask for and accept support is not a weakness. It is actually a very courageous act.
Wow.
And so us being able to be willing to be vulnerable, what we'll find is that we're not alone.
And so with the PTSD, a lot of women, the saying, or what's out there now, is damaged women are not supposed to be loved. So, right, you help them get to that place where they're learning how to love themselves from within.
Yeah.
Yes, that's so awesome, Melanie. You are offering a gift of life to people. So many people suffering in this season. And I think that you're a gift to the women that is willing to receive you. Can you tell us a little bit about your book, Radical Love?
I will. I do want to say one thing though. You mentioned COVID and therapists. Like, my therapist friends are booked this year. Like 2020, their schedule is tight, because one of the things that this pandemic did was it helped to bring forth some things that we were hiding from. So I will say that more women are actually seeking support, which I am really grateful for. Yeah.
Yes.
I do want to say that, like, they're actually beginning to say, yes, I could use some support. Yes, please help me. And I applaud them for that.
Yes. And just, I don't want to lose my train of thought, but you are based in Chicago. Are you from Chicago?
No, I'm actually from Maryland. I'm an East Coast girl. Yes.
Okay, born and raised in Maryland. And you relocated to Chicago about how many years ago?
About 18 years ago.
Okay. And about 18 years ago, that's when you actually stepped away from the beauty industry as well.
Yes, yes. That was the easiest way for me to transition, is, by me relocating, rather than relocating and coming to Chicago and trying to build a whole new beauty clientele. I chose to move here and then focus on building my coaching business.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Really. Now, getting back to, can you tell us a little bit about your book? You also have a podcast called She Chose Joy.
Yes.
You are
yes. Okay, so the
so inspirational.
Thank you. And it's me having these yummy conversations with my sister friends, like conversations that we typically have offline. And I decided to start sharing them with the audience. And so check it out, because it's a lot of good stuff there. And since we were talking about mindset, I would say start with the first episode, which is called Every Thought is a Prayer.
Wow.
Every thought is a prayer. Like that is a great place to start with the very first episode. And yeah, it's a lot of things about what we're speaking and what we're believing and what we're bringing forth and how to manifest from there. But that one is really powerful. All of them are wonderful, but I think when we thinking about mindset, that's a
Right.
great place to start. And in
Okay.
terms of my book, is Radical Love, Your Path of Freedom and Bliss. And
Yes.
one of the things that was really important to me is I wanted my cover to reflect where they want to go. I didn't want it to look like freedom. So what do you see
Yes.
when you look at it?
I see joy and peace
Mm-hmm.
because colors represent life. And
Yeah.
yes,
And so if you don't mind, can I explain what the cover is?
of course.
So
Please do.
if you notice, she's colorful and she's full and she's vibrant, right? And you see the illuminate, like her mind is just like thoughts and everything is illuminating. People think these are butterflies, but they're really imperfect hearts because you get to just be perfectly you, right? Forget trying to be perfect for other people, but just accept all of our imperfections as your perfection. And so she's full because she's taken the time to pour into herself first. And this is the love that's overflowing. So she loves from her overflow.
Wow.
And then these are her support system. Like this, she loves from her overflow. And then there are more imperfect hearts that surround her. These are her supportive relationships. These are her coaches, her friends, her therapists, her family, the people that she goes to when she needs a safe space to land.
Awesome. It's a beautiful
Yeah, and
cover.
so that's the story of the cover. And the beauty of this cover is that one of the things that really excites me about it is
Mhm.
that when I sent it to my graphic designer, I just told her colors that I envisioned, but I didn't want to tamper with her creativity because we're creatives. We don't want
Yes.
anybody telling us how to design, right?
Right.
I just told her how I wanted it to feel and the colors. And what she did was one of the exercise. She asked me to send her content. She did one of the activities in the book, and the cover was birthed from the activity.
Oh, wow. Mm. What a gift.
Like I almost cried when she told me that.
Oh, what a gift. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Melanie, tell my audience where they can find your podcast and your
The
book.
Okay, so the podcast is on iTunes, it's on Anchor, it's on Spotify. So you can find it pretty much anywhere. If you just Google She Chose Joy with Melanie, you'll find
Yes.
it. My book, if you want an autograph copy, then you would go to radicallovebook.com and I'll be happy to send out a signed copy, or it's also available on Amazon.
Awesome. All of Melanie's stuff will be in the captions. All you have to do is just scroll down and everything will be there. All of her
Yeah.
information, her email, the book, everything. Um, can you tell my audience, um, because some people think, like, so what is your base? Is your base spiritual? Is it religious? Are you a believer? Can we just get a little bit into, the comfortability of some people, what they might think, and so on and so forth in regards to the way that you might approach your coaching
Okay,
methods?
sure, absolutely. So my company is the heart-centered space, right? For healing and acceptance through the transformative power of self-love, right? Acceptance meaning I work with everyone. So I consider myself spiritual. I have friends and clients from all walks of life. It's all guided from my inner wisdom, which is the divine within me. So it is all spiritually based. I
Mhm.
take time to pray in the morning. I take time to do my scriptures, all of those different things. But it is about acceptance and being able to love. How can I work with women about loving themselves, but I'm picking and choosing who I'm going to love?
Amen. Okay. All right.
You know, and so if I believe that God is love and I bring love into the space, then I accept you as you are, as I help to illuminate opportunities and witness your journey as you begin to accept and love you as you are.
Wow. You are such a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
I really do thank God for you know, getting to know you. I thank Mickey Wright because she actually told me about your retreat. Thank you, Mickey. And
My bestie was one of my
yes.
besties. Yes.
And so you have been featured on ABC 7 Chicago, Fox 32. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the platforms that you have been invited on in regards to your expertise and how you are changing the mindset of women to empower them?
And I'm also invited to Clip It Real Talk. That's an amazing platform that I'm grateful
Yes.
to be on.
Thank you.
It's basically, it still is all about helping women to choose. So for example, we, you know, on there I talk about the fact that we get to choose love for ourselves. We have self-love and self-care is a part of the collective consciousness now. So we're hearing it and everybody's talking about it, but do we really know what it means for you?
Okay.
Like, do you know what it means for you? And so when we think about self-care, that is not, that's a component of self-love, but it's not everything all in one gamut. And so if we just play with self-care for a minute, we see images of bubble baths and massages and all of those things, which are wonderful. Those are wonderful tools in support of it. But self-care is really about making sure that your spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, and financial needs are met consistently.
Awesome. Awesome. Melanie, do you find that it's a lot of people that is suffering from self-love? Like do you find that a lot of people don't really even know how to search within themselves to love themselves?
I feel like we all have had our moments.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we were to be honest, none of us are exempt. And so, yes, because again, back to our teachings, like the things that we were taught and that mindset that we were raised on, that it's selfish to take care of you or to even think of you first. Stop being so selfish. If
Wow.
you even compliment yourself, we were called conceited.
Yes.
So you know what I mean? So, or you're stuck up and you're so full of yourself and all of these things. So all of these messages that we received growing up, whether we heard it in our household, saw it on television, heard it on the radio, read it in magazines, or heard it at school or in the neighborhoods, it still impacted us. And that's like having that soundtrack on replay
Oh, yeah.
all the time. We're hearing all these messages, and many of the messages that we heard are pulling us more away from ourselves than it is bringing us towards ourselves to give us permission. So yes, we all have those moments when we could show ourselves a little more compassion, a little more kindness, a little more gentleness, right? And a little more love and nurturing.
Yeah.
But again, it's being able to choose it. Like,
Right.
it's a path and a process, and it's something we practice every day, but it's also a choice. And that's the part we often forget, is that we get to choose it. Not one day at a time, but what moment at a time.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, even if you were to place your hand over your heart right now and
Mhm.
just close your eyes and just ask your heart, what is it that you need to hear in this moment? What is it that you need to feel? Or what is it that you need to experience? And give your heart a moment to just respond.
Awesome.
Like,
Wow.
being able to just take that moment to check in and say, what do I need in this moment?
Just that moment of just that alone is you feel some peace. You feel like you were taught, like that is like, I could tell if I was really to embrace it, that I would hear myself and that I was feeling something,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's therapeutic.
Yeah. So just taking that moment to pause and just slow down, pause, exhale, and center yourself, right? Is what I call PET, pause, exhale, and center, where we just take some moments to just go within. And not only, how long did that take?
2 seconds. As soon as
Right.
I did that and closed my
Mm-hmm.
eyes, it took me somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I mean, instantly.
Mm-hmm. And
Wow.
if we even do that before when that phone rings, or whatever it is, before we pick it up, before we or if you do pick it up and someone asks you to do something, before saying yes or no,
Hmm.
just take a moment to pause, place them on hold,
Hmm.
pause, exhale, and center. Just peck it out for a minute and get clear about what are you getting ready to commit to, and is that a great choice for you at this time?
Hmm. Hmm. Wow. I heard that this week somewhere. I think it was Joyce Myers, and was just saying, take a moment to, before you react, before
Mm-hmm.
like you said, pick up the phone, or before you respond to
Yeah.
something, just
Mm-hmm.
take a moment to just, allow peace, and my belief is allow the Holy Spirit to just take control so that way you don't respond
Mm-hmm.
with your flesh.
Yeah.
um
Mm-hmm. But
it's
even when you hear spirit in silent, in quiet, right?
yes.
If it's too much going on, it's hard to discern which voice is the voice of God. But it's
Hmm.
in stillness that we hear that sweet, sweet whisper.
Hmm. Wow. I really do encourage all women to find some type, and including myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, we was talking the other day, and you were saying how, you know, um, in the beauty industry, we just work, work, work. In regards to my experience too, people stopped inviting me to things because I could never make it. And
Mm-hmm.
Melanie, in a mindset of that, have you come to any realization in regards to why we did the things that we did, why we serviced people to that extent, to where it came before ourselves, our family,
Yeah.
your children, my husband, my family events?
Mm-hmm.
Was it an escape? Was it an escape, or?
It's a lot of things. It's multiple layers to that. So
Okay.
one, when we worked in the beauty industry, depending on what the setup was, for many of us, I'll just say even in our community, right?
Hmm.
You don't work, you don't get paid. We didn't have sick leave and vacation leave and everything else. So a lot of us were thinking about we need the income to just be able to support and take care of our family. So if we believe that we have to be present all the time making money to make sure that we are going to have a roof over our head, our families are going to be fed, and we're going to have the lifestyle we desire, it that alone can keep you attached to that chair. Then you tie in wanting to provide service and please our clients. We want them to keep coming back to us. So if that means squeezing them in because they have somewhere to go, if that means, doing whatever the demands are, many of us said yes,
Yes.
yes, whatever was the request, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And so we overextended ourselves, overcommitted ourselves. And was it of service? In some ways, but in many ways it wasn't. Because how many times did we keep them there longer than they needed to be? We kept one there longer than they needed to be because we were
Overbooking.
accommodating another.
Right.
Versus if we looked at our schedules differently and created space to be able to really fully be of service and be present with each client at a time, think of the value in that. And then what we were essentially doing, even though we said we were working so hard, I'll just speak for myself. Even
Okay.
though I said I was working so hard for my daughter, right? For my family, my behaviors were saying that my clients meant more to me than my family did, because where my choices led me were to my clients.
Yes.
I miss my daughter's parts of her life because I made my clients more important than I made her, even though in my mind, I thought I was doing it for her. When our children don't want things, they want us. They want our presence, not our present. Presence, like the thing.
Wow.
And so being able to really own the truth in that and make some new choices. Like there's a saying, and I'm getting ready to mess it up, but it's about how it's like what we want is in our conversations, but our commitments are in our behaviors. So our conversations said our family is important, but our commitment was in our behaviors, where we said our clients were important.
Wow. Thank you so much. This conversation could go on and on and on, because there's so much to talk about in regards to moving forward within yourself and looking at everything that we have done. This pandemic, the shutdown and this whole season that started in March has opened so many eyes to self.
Yeah, I did.
To self. And it opened so many eyes to see what's really going on around us and what's really important. Yeah. And what's really important is self-love, because if you don't love yourself, you can't love others.
No, I agree with you. This 2020 was a wake-up call. It was a global reset in a time like this huge awakening. It opened our eyes to what was really important.
Wow.
You know?
Yes.
And so, yeah. So I agree with you wholeheartedly on that.
Yes. Well, thank you, Melanie Foote Davis, for taking the time out of your phenomenal busy schedule to come on to Clip It Real Talk. I want to encourage my audience to really check this phenomenal woman out. She is a woman of peace. She gives me peace. She gives so many women peace. I'm just now getting to know her, but I definitely want to get to know her better. And I encourage you to get to know her better as well. All of her information, her book, Radical Love, Your Path to Freedom and Bliss, her podcast, She Chose Joy, everything about Melanie Foote Davis will be in the captions below. So please reach out, get to know her, buy her book, support Black businesses, support Black beautiful women like herself that's pouring out herself and her love to us. We definitely need it. So I want to thank you, Ms. Foote Davis, for coming on to Clip It Real Talk. And oh, you're welcome. And I want to encourage you guys to subscribe to Clip It Real Talk. Make sure you ring the bell and spread the good news about Clip It Real Talk. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Oh, stay safe and healthy. And thank you for coming, Melanie. I really appreciate you.